I don't know if every company needs to pay attention to every twist and turn in social media per se, but in general, I think pretty much every company in every industry needs to spend far more time and energy focusing on the whole set of changes happening with technology and the internet, because the ecosystem around them in whatever industry they're in is transforming all the time. And the companies that don't realize that are the ones poised to lose. I believe that social is a transformative development in modern society, social technology. Facebook in particular, but also Twitter, LinkedIn is critically important. And any company that ignores what's happening in that arena is doing so at its peril. If you want an example of how every company really has to start thinking about media more intelligently, look at the contrast between Gillette and the Dollar Shave Company, which is an insurgent that came along out of nowhere and basically is starting to take business away from the industry colossus Gillette, which charges up to $4 per blade for its razors and gets us to buy them and believe that it's necessary to buy them with, as I understand it, $1 billion a year in advertising. Dollar Shave Company, by contrast, created its own humorous videos on YouTube, created a visibility for itself, and now is selling those same razors for $1.50 each by mail, and getting a considerable amount of profit nonetheless because they actually cost so little to produce. But they garnered that market share by being a media company first that caught the attention of the customer and then capitalized on that by selling a product. I think that sort of thing, you should assume if you're in any consumer business that that could happen to you. How do you stay interesting enough as a marketer to not find yourself dollar shaved, shall we say? It's a challenge for anyone in business to try to keep on top of the pace at which society is changing. And I say society very deliberately. Technology is just a set of tools, but technology, among other things, and as a central force, is changing society. So if you want to have a window and a lens into where the world is going to be in a few years, you have no choice but to pay attention to how technology is transforming the way that people communicate, the way they get their information, the way they think about their employers, their governments, their friends. I think corporate communications executives have generally made a pretty rapid transition to recognizing that the world is radically changed from what it was, and that getting a few hits in old media is not a measure of your success in messaging and reaching your communities. The fact that so many of them are creating their own news sites, the fact that so many of them are reaching out to individual media producers like bloggers, and I'm a little bit of a broken record on this, but experimentation is not optional. Open-mindedness is not optional. The people who are going to win and stay viable are those who are going to be open-minded, continue to experiment, recognize that we are in an era of continuous change that's happening at an exponential pace, which means it's speeding up. And so if you don't keep trying new things, you'll fall behind. Even if you think you've got it for today, you've got to think about how you're going to be trying new things tomorrow. Nobody can remain complacent. It's a constantly shifting landscape, incredibly difficult to navigate, but that's what makes it interesting.